What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Project Manga podcast. I'm Noxie.
I'm Kiko.
Eagle.
Back with the tie-ins. This subject is going to be pretty cool. We were talking about it a little bit earlier in the week about what we should do for the next tie-in episode. So we think we have a really cool topic for you guys today. Before we jump into that, I do want to say the Project Manga podcast is now also on Apple Podcasts along with Spotify. You'll find those links in the link tree in the description, along with our Discord and any of our other online communities. So come hang out if you got some time. The subject tonight is discussing potential supporting character spin-off stories. As I'm sure a lot of you have had this conversation before, if you're an otaku or any kind of fan of anime or manga, you read through these stories and watch these shows, and you find really cool supporting or side characters, and that just make you go, I wonder what their story was like. You know what I mean? I wonder, you know, how cool it would be if we got a side series that focused on their origin and their come up throughout their time in this series that we've come to love. And you know, just taking a little bit of the focus away from the main character, and a lot of the stories that we follow have a lot of those characters in them. So we're going to be talking about some of our favorite characters and what a potential side series would be like for those stories, and maybe hopefully, you know, throw some out there that you guys might not have been expecting. Of course, we're going to have a quick little conversation about some of the more obvious picks in regard to, you know, more popular side characters that are for sure getting talked about online as potential side stories that would be really cool to see. But I think we each have a pretty good list of sleeper picks or slept on characters that we think would have pretty cool side stories to go with them. So,
but I'm ready to get this cracking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And in regard to like a conversation that I want to have, just to get, you know, some of the more obvious picks out of the way, you know, some of the characters that you guys, you know, it would be obvious to hear about on, you know, this episode after like clicking on this link or hearing the title of it. I feel like one that we can jump right off into, considering the most recent One Piece chapter going so crazy, would be a nice little Gold Roger spinoff.
Monkey D.Ga.
Or Garp actually would be one that would be super cool to see too.
Garp and
Cool
Sengoku.
to see it kind of revolve around both of them, kind of like how old games used to be, where it would be like a multi-perspective kind of thing, where maybe the story would switch back and forth with both of them, but
between Garp and Roger,
closely intertwined. Yeah.
Oh, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like
almost
show like the
the
pirate perspective of like Roger coming up and
Yeah.
like assembling his crew and like meeting, you know, Rayleigh and
Yeah.
Crocus and whatnot, and then over on the marine side of things, you know, Garp going up through the ranks as like a little private, you know, and then oh dude, that would be so
a little
sick.
swab.
Yeah,
Turning
dude.
down the admiral position and all that, get all the way up there. Just because, I think that would be really good for us to see. Just, I don't know, a little bit more into like, just the Marines and how the ranking would go, and you get a little bit about it, but you know, it'd be nice to get a little bit more of that in the story. So
Yeah,
that'd be I'd love that spinoff.
Yeah, man.
And another obvious one, I think, is, you know, the thumbnail. Obviously.
Yeah. Yes, dude.
Being freaks.
Yeah,
you know?
and I feel like the number one question everyone has when they go through Hunter x Hunter is like, okay, Gon is looking for his dad. You know, that's like the whole premise of the series, and then you find out that Jing just kind of leaves him, you know, to go be this hunter, and it would be cool to finally see the motivations of like what was so intriguing about this profession that makes you want to completely abandon your son, you know, in your sister's care to go find whatever it is you're looking for. So I feel like
I mean, low key, I've seen some hate for Jing lately, and I mean,
he's
I don't want to
always
get too
gotten
deep into
hate, dude.
this, but I mean, while his actions may not have been like the best, he had good intentions. You can say that about a lot of people, but I mean, he pretty much laid out a yellow brick road for Gon to follow to get, you know, stronger if he wanted to follow that path.
He was super
and if he
cool
didn't want to follow that path, he did it in a way where it never would have affected him, other than the aspect of, you know, obviously he got abandoned by his father.
Right.
Well, and Jing also has faith that Gon has every bit the capability that he does, and that makes a lot of sense now in the story with the revelation of Dawn freaks, and like their bloodline is obviously hard body, so like it's like I gotta make this, you know, some kind of fucking super elaborate, or I mean, I don't even know if you'd call it elaborate, but tough fucking trials to go through to even meet me, which is just like the just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, that you're just opening the door into the hunter world, I think is kind of how Jing was even, if you can find me, like you're just now starting to get somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So
in
What are
regard
some
to
other
like
obvious
bad
picks?
parents that abandon their kids, for their whole life, I feel like Jing went about it, the coolest way in regard to like leaving breadcrumbs like throughout like Greed Island, and leaving him like leaving him the voice
Greed
message in
Island
the box and being like, if you
fantastic.
if you
Yeah,
want to come, if you
I
want to
agree.
find me, go ahead and come. But if you use a company, then I'm not going to be here. I'm going to send you to Kite,
Yeah.
And if you use what's the other one?
magnetic field
Magnetic Force.
force.
Or maybe
yeah.
it is Magnetic Force is the one where you go solo to a certain location.
I think so. So.
Yeah, but yeah, just like that whole thing, like and then once you get the conversation like on the world tree, with Gon and Jing at the end of the anime series anyway, or at the end of the election arc in the manga, whatever, and they have that conversation, and he doesn't really explain in depth as to like why he did what he did, but Gon doesn't really ask either.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
their relationship is cool, even though Jing is.
I think Gon just understands.
Yeah, he just gets it,
Yeah.
especially because he's had so much experience in the hunter world up to that point. If Gon would have found him like before he knew anything about the world, he probably would have been like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Like, why didn't you didn't love me?" Or like, it might have been a completely different conversation. But like after everything that he's experienced, I think Gon does have. That kind of in his mind, like, maybe there is a little bit more to this that would make you.
And he states it. I mean, he's the one who states it when Mito, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
The Mito-san.
sister?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if that's actually a sister, but
I thought it was.
I think it's just
He
kind of
said
set.
Oh yeah, maybe his cousin.
He was like, being a hunter must be something so amazing if he's willing to abandon me for it.
Yeah, Gon's the one who is saying that, and not because Mito's like, why in the hell would you ever do this to your kid? And Gon just like, no, this makes it what it's worth to go, and pursue this journey and find him. That's it is. It's very I mean, Hunter's the best. So
What are some other obvious picks you guys think we should throw out before we get into it?
I feel
All Might.
I feel like All Might would be a really
All
cool
Might.
one to see, and I feel like I see a lot of people talking about that. Yeah, I feel like seeing that and just seeing his come up from like, I want to see what it was like when he was quirkless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see, and I also want to see like if he always looked like he does
just
when
beating
he's.
dudes up in high school.
Yeah, well, I also want to see like what he looked like if he always looked like how he does, when he reverts out of his muscle form. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, because I feel like that skinny form isn't his original form either.
No.
Yeah, so I
Somewhere
feel
in
I would agree.
between.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it would be really cool to see, what he looked like in school, and then, from receiving the quirk from Shigaraki's grandmother, and and starting off in UA and climbing the ranks just like we see Deku in the rest of Class A, and just seeing how like what kind of student he was. You know what I mean? Was he? You would have to assume that he was just like an all-around like honor student, like maybe like a combination of Ida and. No, I don't want to say Bakugo. Maybe like it's so weird thinking about it, but you'd think that he would have like the Ida mentality.
A lot of Ida.
Yeah, but then like the Deku,
Just he's got a lot of
talent.
positivity. I don't know if he was always that positive, but that'd be pretty tight to just see him like always, be super optimistic about basically every situation all the time, and put on the big smile and all that shit. Even if
He's probably
not.
like a Mirio.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
He was saying like he's not necessarily always happy, I don't think, but he like, because he is the symbol of peace, he's like, I always got to smile.
I think he did develop that mentality like later after like some kind of event where he was like, all right, hold on, no, I can't show any kind of fault, like I can't falter at all in the face of adversity. I think he does develop that later, so that would be super cool to see like a completely different personality from All Might in school compared to like what we know him for right now. That would be super cool. And then like his internship with Gran Torino and whatnot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. But another thing is just how All for One works with him, or One for All works. Yeah, One for All. How One for All works for him, like because he only uses the physical aspect of it, and he doesn't have all these other abilities that we know of. Maybe he does, and maybe he can't use them anymore after he got the death blow from fucking
from
bad
All
guy.
for One.
All for One.
The way that I kind of like took it, once we started seeing Deku start to like use some of the previous inheritors' quirks in that exam a couple arcs ago, because when he went to All Might, he was like, yo, another inheritor's quirk like came out randomly and I couldn't control it, and All Might was like, I never heard of that happening before. You know what I mean? So maybe
that never happened to me, G.
Yeah, but that's also in the arc right before we started seeing the secondary mutations coming out of the villain arc. You know what I mean? So like it could just be that quirks are, you know, evolving, and All for One, or I mean One for All, you know, is one of those where now that we're on the 9th inheritor, you're starting to see something different. You know what I mean? That wasn't there before. Maybe you did just get the physical aspect of previous inheritors, you know, before Deku, you know what I mean? And now that Deku's here and we're on the 9th one, it's like, okay, now you're gonna start unlocking like some of our, you know, original quirks and whatnot. Which is
that could be.
Yeah, which is just so crazy to like think about that, like other inheritors of All for One or One for All, geez.
It's
had
hard.
like
It's hard.
Previous inheritors of One for All had their own quirks on top of One for All. Because you know, the only inheritors that we, you know, really go in depth, you know, with were quirkless. You know what I mean? So that it would be cool. Yeah, it would be cool to get some background info on that too. But another obvious one that I think everybody would love to see too would be Julius Novachrono from Black Clover. Would be a really cool side series to get the origin of, because you know everybody loves seeing someone go from nothing to an actual magic emperor, and we know that, you know,
he was captain of the Silver Deer or whatever before he disbanded that and then made, you know, Yami and Williams gangs, the Golden Dawn and the Black Bulls.
Right.
Oh wait, it's the Azure Deer now, actually.
Yeah, I think it is.
And it was the Gray Deer before.
Yeah.
When he was running it, I think. Yeah.
But I think.
But I'm just wondering, like, what does like novice level time magic look
That's
like?
exactly
like,
what I was going to start talking about.
Yeah.
Like how does his come up like go when you have such a broken, you know, ability? You know what I mean? Because Time Stop is always top 3 strongest abilities in any series that has it. You know, if not number 1. You know what I mean? So like if you can control, you know, if you can control time and whatnot, it's like how easy was his come up? You know what I mean? He was probably just soloing everything.
If what his grimoire looked like, but he doesn't have a regular grimoire. He's got
the Rolodex.
I was gonna ask if he had a 4-leaf, but
he has no cover.
He has no cover. Yeah.
What is he?
His is above a 4-leaf. I don't know. I don't even know what. He has to have been like somewhat, because I mean we've seen, you know, and how like the second he got his grimoire, he was pretty much, you know, OD, and already was without it. So I mean, you would think Julius is somewhat similar, because isn't he's of a royal line, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has royal blood. Yeah.
So I mean, you would imagine he's pretty damn powerful, you know, straight out of the gate, especially with some time magic. But there's definitely a scale up, especially now that he said when he came back, he's like, I only got 1 page of my shit, G. So
it's back to square one, and he just has like such the typical, you know, like shonen main character personality. You know what I mean? So it definitely would fit in a he would be.
It's funny that we're almost
side series.
It's funny that we're almost getting this too within the actual series of Black Clover, because he is a kid again now. So it's like, it's funny.
Yeah,
who knows what's really going to happen with that? Like, is he going to stay the kid forever? But the thing, if Julius has a fucking Rolodex as a fucking grimoire, you know, does the like Wizard King of the Spade Kingdom got like a smartphone? Like, where are we going with this?
You got a like two-way pager?
He's got to start. You know, have an old ass meaty fucking 2004 song for the ringtone. I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
Shoulder.
A million.
Wow, dog.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Who wants to start off the personal picks?
Well, I will, because, and I'm going to kind of shuffle mine a little bit. You were talking about how we would kind of pick like more obvious ones. I'd say this is probably the most obvious one that I have, and also talking about Black Clover is I want to see Yami's come up, because I want to see like samurai training or whatever the fuck from Japan or wherever he's obviously from an Eastern country with martial arts background.
Right.
And how does that even like come about? Like, he's from this Eastern world and then gets to whatever this Clover area and then gets a grimoire grimoire, or are people in the East getting grimoires too? I keep saying the East. I don't. Who knows where the fuck this is? But
Yeah,
you
right.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
Where, like, is there going to be martial arts mages at some point?
Maybe. And it's like when we see the map in like a couple of chapters ago about like all the different areas, you know, of the world that we're in, like where does Yami's hometown fit in there?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
did
know.
he come from a different like world?
Well,
You
and
know,
it could be
like-
like south, because I think everything below is ocean, and it could be, you know, an
Yeah.
island country or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Like a small
I mean-
like isolationist like country maybe.
yeah,
Because I mean, no one knows about Ki really. It seems like no one really knows about Ki, so it would be cool. It would be cool to like see his come up and like training to be like a swordsman and also like a magician, and like see like, you know, an intense like breakdown or an in-depth breakdown of like how Ki works and whatnot in his training with that. That would be super cool.
Right.
that would blow the story wide open for me,
It would blow
because
it wide open,
But
dude.
I just
I
would
think
love
he
it.
did have a grimoire when he came over, because I thought in his flashback they were talking about how he has a weird looking grimoire and shit.
Did
Yeah,
they say that?
I don't
I
remember.
can't remember exactly.
Yeah,
I thought
I
the
don't
dudes that
remember.
were like, "Oh, who's this dude with the weird looking beat the shit out of all of them."
Yeah,
His flashback to me was so fucking funny, man. I remember he was just like, "Oh yeah, there was a boy one time. People were making fun of him, so he beat the shit out of all of them. That's it." Oh my god, I was fucking dead. That shit killed me.
That's
Oh
good.
man,
That's
good stuff.
Yeah,
So, but-
Yami would be super interesting.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what does novice level darkness magic look like too? You
Right.
know, like,
Yeah.
that's the thing with all these like broken magics or abilities in any series,
Yeah.
especially when you get like end game character, like they're already who they are. There is no more really development for them. Like Yami gets development, but like Julius isn't going to get any. I guess now he can, that he's a kid again, but he's just going to try to get back to the level that he already was, and that's
Right.
like the pinnacle of mages that anybody knows of, which seems like that's fucking. He was probably stronger than even the old light mage king, wizard king.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at least it kind of feels like that
It
to
does
me.
kind
But
of feel like that, yeah.
so any of these people with broken ass abilities, I would love to see what the novice level, like them learning their shit, is, because I feel like it would probably have to be, you know, harder to master those types of abilities with maybe
Yeah.
bigger drawbacks, you know, bigger recoil on an ability where you could get fucked up, you know, like
Right.
that'd
Yeah.
be good to see, you know, because I feel like you
Some
can't
kind
just,
of way to balance it.
yeah,
Or show
yeah,
like some kind of like detriment or caveat, you know, like to what
Yeah.
they can do. Because like right now it's like Yami's cutting through dimensions. It's like Kuwabara didn't get that till the end of the story.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but that's what I got for Yami. That's, I just, you know, he's one of the best characters in the series. I mean, that's just,
He's
I don't
my
think
favorite
that's
personally. Him
Yeah,
and Mantis, Green Mantis Captain,
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah,
I always forget his name,
Jack
even
the
though he's one of my
Ripper's
He
favorites.
is tight.
Whenever he's on screen, I'm like, yeah, baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, baby, it's Jack the Ripper hours. Yeah, 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 yeah.
What do you
So
got,
murder
Eagle?
some prostitutes out here, you know. Like, it's funny that that's his name.
Yeah. Holy
It's
shit.
like, all right,
The one that I want to bring up first, and I'm glad that we didn't go like into it in the first part, because I mean this is probably, well, I mean one of the characters is probably my most, well, it's probably the most obvious one I have, and Kiko.
Yeah.
Briefly glanced over it in the first part, but one of the names anyway. I think a series that would be centric around the three of these characters. I'm going to cheat a little bit because they all kind of have to do with each other.
Right.
Isaac Netero,
Ooh.
Don Freaks,
Okay.
and Maha Zoldyck
Yeah, dude.
in the
They
Dark
went-
Continent.
Yes.
Their
dude,
journey
that'd be
together,
so
yo.
Good.
Liddy. Oh my god, yo! I don't
when
even
you-
like.
Yeah.
We don't know a lot about the Dark Continent, so it's like it's hard to say what they're doing out here, but it's like
Right.
they're obviously going to be going on adventures, you know,
Right.
leveling up. We get to see the dynamic between them. Obviously, we would get to see Maha and Dawn because we haven't seen either of them.
Right. We
Dawn is
we
supposedly over
Maha,
300 years
one
old.
time. I think we
Yeah,
saw
like
Maha
a little
in one
flashback.
panel. In one panel, and it was like
One
him and
panel.
Kaluto, and they were literally
And
just
he's
standing
old and tiny. He's like a little fucking, you
Yeah, he
know.
looks like a
I don't.
little
Was that in
jockey.
the anime?
I don't think we got.
I don't
that
think
in
it
the
was
anime.
because I don't think so.
I don't think it was.
'Cause I don't remember
it might
that.
not have been. But he's almost like Jockin from Inuyasha, some little ass fucking goblin.
He does kind of look like
Jockin.
Johnny.
Jockin!
Dude, Jockin was tight. I love Jockin.
Jockin was the guy, I guess.
Yeah, dude.
He was ride or die for Sesshomaru, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. It would be super
That's
cool
what we're talking
see,
about, right? Jockin?
Yeah, from the his little like Vizier or whoever, yeah. But I also think it would be really cool inside of your pick here to see, because when we get that flashback panel of Netero and actually it was Zig Zoldyck that went on the expedition to the Dark Continent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually Zig Zoldyck, now that I remember.
Is Maha older than Zig?
Okay, so Zig is Netero's is Zeno's father. Maha is his grandfather.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So Zig is Zeno's dad. That's right. I got them mixed up too.
Then let me just get Netero out of there.
Yeah.
Apparently he's a generation or two younger than it's
No,
Don
he's not.
Maha.
No. Fucking Netero's like 150 years old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Don's supposedly over 300.
Is he? Is that what they said?
I thought so too. I didn't think Don.
Yeah.
I didn't even know if Don was rolling with them. I thought they found information that Don writ in the book, and that's.
Yeah.
I don't know, but regardless, like just having Dark Continent shit and just even talking about this. This is why I don't even like to talk about this much, because it makes me mad we ain't getting it ever in our life. And Togashi's just not
dead on his
doing
desk
it
right now.
But I would just love to see, because when we get that flashback of Netero and Zig and Lynn Hors d'oeuvres is who actually was the third one who went to the Dark Continent. Yeah, when we get that flashback of them there, you literally just get one page of them like maybe like washing up on shore and like looking up, and and they just look like. I mean, Zig looks like he's ready for the smoke no matter what it is. He's like,
he's suited.
Yeah, but Netero is like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And like
and
they're just looking at dinosaurs
because it's just shit everywhere, just going nuts, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Get your ass twisted into a braid, fucking around there.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, that would be good. I would love that.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, your buddy came back as a joint. Like we might as well smoke this guy because that's all you can do with this.
That's what I'm running with is either Netero, Zig, and hors d'oeuvres, journey to it, the Dark Continent, or if Don and Maha did their thing together, either one of those two or the both of them.
Yeah,
that would be some tight side stories to see.
Yeah, dude, that would be incredible.
I ended up picking 5 people, man. What the fuck?
I mean, it's the same story. You're picking one story.
Yeah. And if they're all rolling, they're related to each other.
Yeah,
in some
spotted
way.
up.
They probably teamed up a couple times in some regard. Yeah.
And this talk of Lynn Hors d'oeuvre reminds me of is she related to Stick Dinner? You remember our guy Stick Dinner?
That with the afro and the black eyes.
I was sitting there trying to remember what the fuck's this guy's name? Something Dinner. Stick Dinner.
Yeah.
Stick Dinner, I guess.
Those were the funniest names, man. Hunter has the funniest names, bro.
That shit is clowning.
Yeah, that's good. The one that I wanted to bring up on my list, that I feel like I haven't really seen people talking about it, but I just always thought that it would be really cool to see L from Death Note. Is the detective who is tasked with taking down Kira, and is like regarded as the number one detective in that in that universe, and he doesn't ever let anybody see him, but the police trust him no matter what because his feats are incredible. He's solved every case by himself basically. So I think it would be really cool to see like his come up from his origin to when he reaches that rank. And I feel like it would be more interesting to see that on like a chapter to chapter basis than maybe even like a Detective Conan. You know what I mean? I feel like I would much rather love to see like a L detective series and I feel like
because shit is gonna be way more savage.
Yeah, exactly.
L detective series, rather than
Yeah. So like
it's gonna be out of there.
Yeah, where Conan is more.
That's good.
Yeah, where Conan is more of like a tried and true like shonen detective story. I feel like L would be more on like the seinen side of things. And there would be a lot more gruesome. Like more like some SVU type shit even. Mixed in with that. So I feel like that would be super.
Some SVU.
Yeah. Dick Wolf.
Yeah, Dick. Executive producer Dick Wolf. Yeah.
yeah.
He got a hairy ass.
Damn.
He got a wolf down there for sure.
Yeah, dude.
you got for your second?
L origin would be really cool. Before we went into some of our like, you know, in-depth personal picks, I just wanted to like lightning round off, you know, a couple ones that I wanted to make sure that we touched on in here, just in case it runs a little long. But how cool would a Roy Mustang side series be for Full Metal Alchemist?
It'd be good, but I just don't want to see him torturing all them Isbalans, you know, all day, just melting people, like just melting children. Like that's a seinen for sure. If we're going through that motherfucker's life, because he melted mad people.
Yeah,
just
dude.
melting children.
Yeah,
he did. The motherfucker, man.
Damn.
Yeah. And I would just, and you know, and even though you said you wouldn't want to see it, that's the whole reason why like I thought of Roy Mustang, is to just see like how being
it would be crazy.
Yeah, just seeing how being like a tried and true dog of the military, you know, can like just see what he is at like the start of the series, and then going through the ranks and doing what he has to do, and then becoming who he is by the time we meet him in Full Metal Alchemist. I feel like there's a whole lot of character development there and a lot of life-changing shit that happens. That would be super interesting to see.
You know, he beat a family to death with his bare hands.
I shouldn't be laughing about that. I shouldn't be laughing about that, but it's funny because of the argument you guys were in the group chat the other day.
That's what it was. That's it.
Oh, that's good, Eagle. That was very good. Wow. Okay.
Nah, he just shot him. He just shot him in the head.
The
doctors.
He just snapped him.
Well, he shot Winry's parents dead in their heads. Like, pow, executed him. Mustang was not playing.
He wasn't. Another really cool side series that I think would be cool to see would be a Sashomaru centered manga. Yeah,
what he's doing out here.
Yeah, dude.
Like, where did he even get Tenseiga if Tetsaiga was within his father's tomb? You know, like just that about, you know, like.
Well, weren't they both? Weren't Tenseiga?
I thought they were both in there.
They were both teeth, weren't they?
No, they weren't.
Tetsaiga is a tooth for sure. His father's tooth.
Yeah. They are both teeth, but Tenseiga has always been on Sashomaru's waist. He just never.
I think it just was given to him.
Oh,
I think it was just given to him because wasn't he of age when they were made?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was of age because Sashomaru was Sashomaru might have been even close to I won't say years older than
Inuyasha, isn't
he? Yeah, and he remembers his father vividly, where Inuyasha does not remember his father at all. But Sashomaru's just always had the sword on his waist. You just never knew what it was because he never used it. And so they go to the tomb and get Tetsaiga, and he had that sword on him the whole time.
Yeah.
It only heals people, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Brings you back to life, all sorts of broken.
Because when you die, your body is like covered by like these demons that extract your soul, I think, and then like bring it to like
underworld
the
minions.
And then Tenseiga can cut those, and then if you destroy them, then you come back to life. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, that would be super cool. Man. Yeah, Inuyasha is a go. Shout out to Rumiko Takahashi.
There's a couple. I mean, Koga would be a good side story too.
Koga
you know,
would be a really cool side
I love Koga. He was one of my. Yeah, he was one of my. Piccolo's voice from the Ocean dub, because that's Ocean dub. Yeah, so I always love that too, because I watched Dragon Ball for the Ocean dub the first time around anyway.
Right. And I just think it would be cool to like see like what kind of person like Sashomaru is, you know, like as a child, and then see him like go through like adolescence and go through like prepubescence and whatnot, because like we get a little bit of a soft side from him, you know, when he's introduced to Rin in the main series, you know, and although it says like this is the first time a human, you know, has ever made me feel like this kind of way or whatever, like you can maybe kind of imply that there might have been other moments in his life, you know, to bring out that softer side, even if it wasn't, you know.
Well, yeah, like especially as an adolescent, like being young, you know, he probably had some, you know, experiences where humans were doing, you know, shitty stuff, and especially when you have a father who, I guess that's kind of his hate for humans too, is that his dad loved Inuyasha's mom. And there's something with that. I don't remember exactly how that went, but I'm pretty sure that was part of it as well.
Right.
But
I'm pretty sure she was like part of his downfall. Didn't like holding himself. I don't know. I thought he was like immensely weaker in his human form, or I don't fucking know. I can't remember.
It's a lot. We should go through Inuyasha again for the one time. just because I haven't gone through it entirely from start to finish in a really long time. But yeah, I think it's just so yeah, right.
Looking back at Inuyasha.
Yeah, that would be a good episode. I'll write that down. But yeah, what do you guys got next for personal picks?
I'm next, I guess. So I'm gonna go with my fellow bald man Tien Shinhan. Because Tien, I want to know so much about his childhood, his upbringing with Tao and Master Shen, and them, molding him, grooming him as a murderer, and just their whole. Because it's going to be the anti-Goku story, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be some adventuring. It'll definitely, and then like, what the fuck is Chaozu? I mean, is Chaozu a person? I mean,
what is even Tien Shinhan? Why does he have three? Did they ever explain why the motherfucker has three eyes?
They don't really go into it.
Not really. They just said that once you meditate so much, you get a third eye, and it doesn't really ever explain like what its advantages. Tao doesn't meditate. Tao just fucking pokes a hole in your forehead and says "fuck you."
It makes an eye.
Yeah.
You would think he doesn't meditate.
Not like Tien, I guess. Yeah. I guess Tien's like Tien and Piccolo. I think are like the only two you ever see kind of like floating in the yoga position, like actually like meditate training. Yeah. I'm pretty sure those are the only two you ever see actually doing that. Yeah. But there's also something along. I remember some kind of shit about Chaozu being some kind of like. I don't really know how to explain it, but it had something to do with like Tien's consciousness or something. I don't remember. Like I thought there was some kind of explanation on. I don't know. Somebody in the chat or somebody in comments, please help me out because like, if somebody can tell me what the fuck Chaozu is, you're gonna make my day because I need to know. I'm gonna go look this up when I get off. Probably.
I don't think we ever get an in-depth explanation on like what race he is or how he came about. Because I feel like you don't remember that.
He's just a weird little man.
Well, and it's tight the dynamic of that's the Chinese school versus the Japanese school, where Shen is the Chinese style with the more mantis type style, and it's I would just love to see, and just if you could give me more Dragon Ball, like I just wish like Dragon Ball Z could have been like delayed, or they could have just made Dragon Ball longer and talked about other characters because it just felt more like an adventure. Like that world is so much more immersive as in a Dragon Ball story than it is in Dragon Ball Z, since it's intergalactic and you just like shoot from an air, a ship to another planet and stuff like that. So
I would love to see a more grounded continuation of the Dragon Ball storytelling for sure. And I've said this before, like in Super with the Tournament of Power, I feel like that was a missed opportunity there because like I feel like what they could have done, since Zeno is able to really do whatever it wants, it seems like. I feel like what could have been a really cool way that they could have continued the Dragon Ball storyline was to, since he can strip you of, powers or create universes or blink them out of existence or whatever it is he can do. How sick would it have been if for the Tournament of Power, he took away Ki entirely and brought it back to OG Dragon Ball Tenkaichi Budokai tournaments? You know what I mean? And just made you like fight hand to hand for Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power. I feel like that would have been really cool. I don't know
every person.
Well, I don't really I mean, I didn't really go through Super like that, but I mean, like it seemed like it was centered more around transformations into like the Blue and God and Rose and Ultra.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Whereas it could have been, they could have brought it back to like technical martial arts, and that would have been really cool and a homage to, to what started everything. I feel like that would have been really cool to see too.
It would have shoehorned him into a weird spot though, because
I feel like he could have done it
without Ki. Jiren is running through the tournament. Like, is he? Jiren is just like is literally really killing everyone. Like,
just adjust the character, nerf him for
or give points. Adjust the character. Don't make him, obscenely like strong like that. Or introduce like rules to the tournament, like a point system, maybe in regards to like knockdowns, or something like that. I don't know, but I just always thought that would be really cool to see a continuation of Dragon Ball go away from like giant, planet shattering, universe ending energy blasts. To back to
what it is.
Oh shit, that busted me.
Yeah, but that's a good one. TN's a really good one. What do you got, Eagle?
Oh my god,
a heart attack.
I have a couple here. I'm gonna go with Merlin from Seven Deadly Sins.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Because her ascension is obviously like, well, she's been OP from the beginning, but like,
yeah, we're
to
just
see her
unlocking new
origin,
levels of OP.
her upbringing.
Yeah.
She's the son, Jesus,
the
the daughter of Balaya Lewin, and basically she's the Demon King and the Supreme Deity's child.
Yeah.
So she's like the ultimate OD, out of control. She's been alive for thousands of years.
Yeah. What was her child?
They would have a lot, and that's what I'm saying. Like, was she brought up like in the goddess realm or in the like demon kingdom, or what the hell?
Or did they both just like exile it to regular world?
Yeah, true. Obviously. And she's, she could just be running experiments on all kinds of different shit, going like Noxie said, she's just going through her motions, living thousands of years, getting more and more OP. But the main thing for me would be to find out the origins. We probably are, we most definitely are.
We're getting Escanors right now, I think, in the current story.
Yeah, it's
we're
a side story.
We're getting a side story for Escanor, which is super cool to see, because that's a question that you have as soon as he's introduced in the Vampires of Edinburgh side story that we got like right after the end of the first Holy Night saga. You know what I mean? You're like, who is this? Why is he busted? Is he a human? It seems like he's not, but he definitely says that he is. It's just all of these questions that you have. Yeah, so I feel like a tried and true origin for all of them would be really cool to see. But Merlin, I feel like I would want first. Yeah, that's great.
Well, yeah, because like she has like the abilities in general in Nanatsu in Seven Deadly Sins are pretty good. Like they just are pretty interesting, and the illustration of the way like her magic, was working, like perfect cube. Like remember
perfect
that shit?
Cube.
Like that shit was so tight, and like just to see, again, since she's pretty, broken. I guess she's not broken because towards the end it's a little bit more, but there's a little bit more to it. But her abilities are so much
limitless. I forget. I think it's called limitless or something like that. Where as long as she can cast a spell, an unlimited supply of mana will just continue to fuel it, and it'll continue just forever.
Yeah, I think that's like her special ability, right? Like that's not a spell.
That's her actual like magic, like how
everything has a name.
How King's magic ability, like he has Chastity-Full.
Yeah.
But his actual magic ability is that rotting shit. You remember? Yeah. We've only seen it like once.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So her actual magic ability it's called either limitless or unlimited or something like that, where she has like an unlimited mana pool separate from herself, where as long as she can successfully cast a spell, that shit'll fire off for eternity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd love to see what she can do, through all, just from a young age and on, just the growth of that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Merlin would be incredible. The next one that I wanted to talk about, that I bet none of y'all was going to guess that I was going to say, can we get a Gary Oak manga? Gary from Pokemon?
So, I want to stop you to say it wouldn't be Gary Oak, it would be Blue. And
it would be Blue? Or maybe a Gary Oak anime then.
Yeah, because if it's a manga, it's got to be Blue, and that would be awesome. That would be it'd be so tight, because Gary or Blue, both like he teeters on the line of morality a little bit, right? Like just I want to be the tightest whatever, but he probably treats his Pokemon kind of like shit, right?
Like, and he just beats his development from like. Yeah,
and if you read the Pokemon manga, like Pokemon get beat, and it's sad, and it ain't. This ain't the Pokemon fucking anime.
Get beat?
Pokemon manga is the same.
Bro, it's dude. I gotta tell you about this. Giovanni fucking has his cloister just come out, freeze a fucking Magmar, and tells his cloister, shatter it. Boom, and it gets shattered into pieces, and it's dead. And you get to see its organs. Like that's fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, bro, you shared that cap one time in the group chat.
You get to see like where the ice is cut, and you can see like fucking in him, and it's like
not playing.
So. Yeah, I don't know if we need all that.
In the anime, they would just be like, Magmar, return! And then Pokeball would suck up all the pieces, and he would come out next time like, Magmar,
kill me.
Hey, but Gary in the anime is rolling around in a Corvette with like fucking 6 chicks with him at all times.
Yeah,
you know, like,
it's like, how did you get to that point?
Yeah, we need to know. We gotta figure this out. Professor Oak, he used to have all them, back in the day too. Professor Oak, and that's why. And that meme where he's telling Ash, yes, go on an adventure for a long time, and you just see like the silhouette of his mom. He's thinking about his mom in the background. Yeah. Like, I need you to go on 1 year journey and leave this city.
Down.
It's fucking hilarious.
I'm ready to settle into these cheeks.
Gary Oak, baby. Yeah, dude. Couple other lightning round ones that I wanted to fire off here. I feel like it would be really cool to see a Kisuke Urahara origin from Bleach.
Yes. We kind of get it, but
yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I would like to see even more than that.
Yeah, that one would be super cool. I would also really like to see a M.A.N.G.A manga. M.A.N.G.A origin
any day of the week
would be cold-blooded, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and just like see like what his ninja upbringing was like, and a question that I always had about Naruto is someone just asked this on the internet the other day, and it made me, since it's like relevant to Guy because it's talking about Rock Lee, and I feel like we can bring it up right now, but like the original like ninja exam tests you for ninjutsu and genjutsu along with taijutsu, and like Rock Lee doesn't have any of that, so like how did he make it anywhere in the ninja world? Guy had to just had to give him a recommendation and let him
cut him through.
But how come they didn't say anything? And now that makes me like wonder in Guy's origin about like how he advanced to a position to where he could just bring Genin through that can't pass the test.
Because Guy does have ninjutsu and genjutsu technically. Yeah. But he don't really use it. But he can summon that turtle and I don't know, some other bullshit.
Turtle.
Yeah, how does he get the turtle?
That's
he what signed that blood contract, Mudgy.
Yeah,
I guess. But...
And the only thing he does is summon him to fucking jump off his ass in midair and bounce and just kick the turtle off into the fucking abyss. Guy's fucking bogus for that.
Yeah. Guy manga would be really, Guy origin manga would be pretty cool. I also really like, we were talking about it on a previous episode, Wave from M.A.N.G.A kill.
Oh yeah,
would be a super cool like juxtaposition to like the Tatsumi story, considering they both have the Incursio armor type Tegus. I feel like it would be really cool to see like how Wave, because it's kind of like the antithesis of Tatsumi, right? Because Wave, is coming from obviously a darker background that aligns him with S-Death, you know what I mean? Eventually, like I would like to see his origin and see how he, got his Tegu and what led him, down the path to aligning himself with someone like S-Death. Maybe it was like something he was forced into, because you could tell that his like morality, line is like kind of like grade. Like he, relates to Tatsumi in a lot of ways in their confrontation, and you could tell that he's not like the tried and true like villain archetype that, the other characters on S-Death's team were, you know what I mean? So yeah. I feel like that would be pretty cool too, yeah.
Like a Gaara, conflicted really.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go through our last ones here real quick.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more like personal pick that we've really thought about, and then we can maybe fire off some lightning round ones towards the end and then wrap it up. Yeah.
Okay, so my last one I got is just one of the greatest characters to ever grace anything ever, and his name is Knucklebine.
Hey,
just flex it out for me for Knuckle real quick, because the thing about Knuckle is that his Nen ability is the epitome of Nen, of what Nen is and what Nen should be, and just how these rules are so strict, so firm, and there's a clear goal on his ability, and who he's fighting's never gonna fucking know what it is. Like it's really hard to figure it out. Like once fucking you got Pot Clean sitting there ticking like numbers, and you're just like,
just
and
the way it looks,
and just punch Pot Clean and nothing happens.
Just the way that Pot Clean looks probably throws them off the scent of what the ability could possibly be just by itself. You know what I mean? Like, because when you see something like that, like you might, get kind of like thrown off kilter a little bit in regard to like how you deduce, exactly what could be happening to you, just because you have this floating smiling face in your, that follows you everywhere you go. You know what I mean? It's like that probably, and like Nen is so cool because it's an energy system that, doesn't rely on, how much mana you have. You know what I mean? As much as how you use it, right? Because like, what good is all of the power that you have if you can crush a building, you know, or if you can evaporate, you know, a mountain range, but I have an ability that says, you know, if I take 3 steps forward, do a backflip and say my name backwards, you're trapped in a box and you can't use Nen. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know, like, you know, like what good is all that strength if you're
Say my name backwards.
You know, like I mean, obviously not that ridiculous, but you know, like that's
I know
how
that's wonderful.
yeah, you know, like that's how Nen, you know, like goes. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah. But the reason I'm even picking Knuckle more than anything is that being that I kind of got a financial background, I really want to understand why he decided to have a fucking interest loan be his ability, and because his family must have gone through some kind of financial hardship where they got in big debt and he lived a fucking impoverished life or some very fucking hard life, that he learned about finances early and how fucking bullshit, how bullshit getting money loaned to you by institutions is just a fucking trap of death. And like and how that could just, you know, that gave him and it just inspired him to make his ability, because he's like, you know what, this affects everybody and this will affect anybody, and there's this is something that you really can't escape on no level. Like, you get hit with the loan and you got interest accruing. If you're not paying it off, you're gonna you're gonna go bankrupt. And it's like that he would have a very I mean, you just got a lot you can do there with the backstory on that.
Yeah, dude, that's incredible, man. Holy shit, I never even thought about it like that. Like, because, you know, when you get introduced to Nen, they're like, this has to do with your personality. I never even thought about like what his childhood could have been like in regard to like why he cares about debt and interest and whatnot. His dad was probably like a day-to-day 9-to-5 businessman that hated his life. You know what I mean? Like, come home every day. Like, wow, bro.
Maybe a small business owner who took out loans to try to get something off for his family and try to have, you know, like the American dream, or
got his knees broken by a fucking loan shark. You got it, you turkey. You know, like, fucking Malacca, what are you doing? You missed your payment. Now we're coming to break your fucking knees.
Wake up with a fucking horse head in your bed. Fucking with me. Wow, that's incredible.
That's it. Like,
that's
and his family probably was killed by loan sharks or something like that over debt. You know, like it would be good. I don't know, it's hilarious and sad at the same time. What a compelling story.
In your fucking
That's it. That's how it
goes. Knuckle bind. That's incredible. Wow. Eagle, fire off your last pick, man.
But before this, I was dead earlier because when you said say my name backwards, I was imagining what your name sounds like backwards, and you sound like an Egyptian.
Ixon.
No.
Not that your real name.
Oh, my real name? Yeah. We don't need to talk about that. Don't throw my gunman out here.
No, but yeah, no, that shit is.
Ramses the third. How are you doing?
Yo. What is that? Return the slab. Or suffer my curse.
Dude, the whole episode, I'm just like, dude, return that shit, bro. I'm pissing my pants. I'm 9 years old. Give me a fucking break. This is a cartoon.
But my last one, and this is my girl, you know, so I got to go off for her. A side story that would be incredible, and even I would say like almost like Sinbad-esque.
Yeah.
Mario Leona.
Yeah,
because, dude. I mean, when do you get the grimoire? It's 12 or 14, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So at that age, she's like, fuck this. I'm not trying to be a magic knight. I don't want nothing to do with this. I'm going to go live my ass in the wilderness and just do my own thing.
Yeah, dude.
So she's obviously, there's tons of shit you can do with that. You know, you can take her into the other kingdoms. I'm pretty sure she spent all of her time in the Grand Mana Zone, like the big area in between the kingdoms.
Yeah.
And was just, you know, killing wildlife there, probably doing shit to get stronger. I imagine she was clearing out hella dungeons, you know, and whatnot. That's why I say it could be kind of Sinbad-esque. But
yeah, dude.
You know, her progression through her, you know, her growth and strength and how she got to be somebody who is like somebody who would say not somebody who would say, but somebody who people would say, like, yes, this person should have always been the captain of the Magic Knight squad.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know, like she's that strong where it's not even like a question of whether Fuego Leon is stronger.
No, Fuego will tell you himself.
Is the one. Yeah. Fuego did say it himself.
I know, exactly.
That's how it's always been,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Sinbad kind of set the precedent for this entire conversation, right? You know what I mean? Because as soon as you see, you know, Sinbad in Magi laying there, you know, like on the ground, you know, in that first panel that you see him, you're like, what is this dude about, you know? And then they start, Otaka Shinobu starts peppering little information in here and there and there, and it just like creates this intrigue, you know, to this amazing side character. And you're like, I want to know everything about this person. And then you get that entire side story dedicated to him, and you're like, why isn't every mangaka doing this? You know, and you know, and it makes sense because their schedules are so hectic and whatnot, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, that's what creates like the whole intrigue for this topic. I feel like Sinbad sets that precedent, because I can't think of another story that really did it the way that Otaka Shinobu did with Magi and Sinbad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, and Sinbad is just like one of those characters that you feel like right away, like, damn, this dude could have been the main character. Like, we could like, you feel that through watching Magi that like, man, like I really. There's definitely a full story about all this, because I mean, once he tells you got fucking 7 dungeons cleared and he can't fucking clear anymore because he's been capped and nobody else, the next closest person is 3, you're like, well, I think we're gonna need to know about this guy a little more.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, dude, Melioleon is a good one. If you haven't read Sinbad no Boken, go out and read that. If you're a fan of Magi, I'm sure you probably already know about it. If you're not a fan of Magi, go read Magi too. Or Magi,
please.
and then
get on it.
No Boken. Yeah, for sure. The last one that I wanted to talk about today is one that comes out of the same universe that we kind of started with. Hunter x Hunter is a story that's filled with so many amazing side characters that you could really ask for a side series for any of them, and it would be just as interesting as the one that we have.
If this dude says Razor right now.
No, it's definitely not Razor. It's actually Crollo Lucifer. And the reason why I think that a Crollo manga would be incredible is just because his entire dynamic in the story is probably the most interesting to me, and you have so many potential story arcs that you want to see, that they kind of planted the seed for in like the regular narrative of the story, right? You would see him, you know, like, and anything that happens in Meteor City is just automatic.
I was going to say, what was really going down in Meteor City?
Yeah, absolutely. And
I was going to call it Trash Town. I'm glad you guys remembered the name.
Yeah, it's just bags of trash everywhere, smoking piles of hot garbage like all over the place, like a tried and true like slum. You know what I mean? And I just think it would be so cool to see him starting off, you know, like having like his struggling like issues with his identity and who he actually is in the world, deciding that he wanted to create a band of thieves, you know, going through and picking all of his, you know, what those experiences were like of him finding all of the original founding members. You know,
because there was like how many, like 5 or 6?
There was 5. It was Phaeton. It was
him, Phaeton, Finks.
Franklin.
Was it Uvogin? No, it wasn't Uvogin. It was Franklin.
It was Franklin, Phaeton, Finks, and Machi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they recruited Nobunaga and Uvogin together.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
also,
it would be really cool to see like all of their like little mini origins inside of, you know, the it would be like kind of like a One Piece feeling, you know, like, but on the seinen side of things, you know, again, going back to
the villain seinen side. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that would be super cool, and I feel like the final arc of that manga could be the assassinate, you know, the genocide of the Kurta clan. Would be a really cool way to end that, you know, that story. You know what I mean? Just you know, and then that would be a perfect segue into, you know, the start of Kurapika's character arc in the main series that we get. So I feel like that would be.
I like it. I love it, actually. I wish Togashi would
Togashi
fucking write anything. Yeah, exactly.
Give me something, anything.
Make your dreams come true.
Yeah,
make our dreams come true, motherfucker. Gee.
Yeah, but that was an incredible discussion, you guys. Thank you for joining me on that. That was a really cool topic, one that went by a little bit quicker than usual. I'm glad that we have like a little bit shorter of an episode, but that was a lot of fun. So
I think we kind of want to get episodes maybe around the hour too, like a couple of these tie-ins. I think just so like it doesn't feel as
shorter
big
ones here and there, peppermint.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like as much of a commitment as our manga main episodes, you know, because those are hour and a half, could be 2 hours.
Could be
depends
2
on
hours.
One Piece. Depends on One Piece. Like if Oda, you know, is gonna write fire, we're gonna be here all night. You know, this is how it is.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But
But that's
turn it on at work and listen to it while you're doing your job. Quit your bitching.
Boom. Bingo, bango.
Jesus, you moke.
Another tie-in episode down. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the episode. Smash the subscribe button if you're new to the Project Manga podcast. And you can hit the little bell icon next to subscribe, and we'll chirp y'all when a new episode comes out. We'll see you next week or on Monday, actually, for the Jump episode, issue 45. Can't wait for that. And also, take a look at the description down below. That's where we're going to have our link tree, so you can see us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, our Discord, Facebook, all of our Twitters, everything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'm your host, Noxie.
It's your boy Kiko.
Eagle Summer.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Sarabada.